So I was given the advice that when I do walkthroughs, I should do some sort of a voiceover. Nobody really wants to hear the background ambient noise, and nobody really wants to hear weird music. I don't think anyone really wants to hear me speak, but we're going to give it a shot. So here's a walkthrough of Cinema Wasteland. This happened October 4th, 5th, and 6th this year, 2024. Um, Cinema Wasteland, if you've never been there, it is a very different type of horror movie convention. And when I say different kind of convention, it's a smaller convention and it gives you more of a party slash family reunion atmosphere. I feel like everyone knows each other. A lot of the vendors are the same throughout the years, which is kind of nice because you get to know the vendors, and you kind of build a relationship with them if you've been to the convention more than once. So typically, I'll only go for a day, but there's a huge group of people who go all weekend, and they kind of keep the party going all weekend. It's a really cool atmosphere. Everybody's really friendly, and this is kind of what Cinema Wasteland has to offer. The vendors range anywhere from homemade movie props like these, from very fine crap videos, latex faces, and body parts, to homemade signs from Groot's Workshop, hand painted candle holders, and decorative little boxes. This guy, I wish I could remember his name or the name of his company, but he's been a staple of Cinema Wasteland since I can remember. He's always got really good quality t shirts, really well priced. You'll always find a lot of original theatrical movie posters, and you'll find a lot of old school horror magazines. Not a huge variety of toys. I'd say maybe one or two tables, but you definitely can find some old horror toys that they don't really sell in stores anymore. A lot of these guys know what they have and they know what they're worth, but you can always talk them down or negotiate, so prices typically aren't concrete. A lot of handmade crafts, creepy peep creations, creepy stuffed animals. Um, this table has some really cool lamps. If I pan up, I know I'm going to come back to it, so you'll see it again in the video. I always like this guy's table. He makes these little clay figures from every horror film you could possibly think of. There's the tall man from Phantasm. You know I love that. Frankenstein, London After Midnight, Terrifier, all the characters from Terrifier, Hellraiser, Frankenhooker. There's Jason up there, Svengoolie, the Shining Twins, Megan. There's got to be 100 of these things. But he does a really good job. Every time I go there, he's got new figures. This booth is right when you walk in. This is Ken and Pam. They actually run the show. Hundreds of theatrical movie posters, hundreds of DVDs. Stop by and say hi to them. It's the first booth you walk straight into. More vintage horror film magazines, sci-fi magazines. And then if you look over here to your left, this is Lick's Clothing. This is run by Jill, and I want to say his name is Greg. They are always at the shows. Their clothing concepts and ideas are really cool. And they also make clothes for babies, like onesies. So these guys I see everywhere. At every convention I go to, there's always the mummy and the monkey. I had no idea what they did until just recently. I spoke with them. They have their own YouTube channel. They have watch parties. They're both super cool. So look up the mummy and the monkey. One Man Riot makes these blacklight art prints. They are incredible. I wish I would have stayed on there longer so you could see them. Hopefully the video circles back and we can get a better look. Speaking of circling back, I kept coming back to this table. Look how beautiful that Phantasm poster is. This table's really cool. I know we're going to come back and see it again, but it's called Pallbearer Press. They have horror hats, t-shirts, shorts, and then they've got some toys also. Patches from the Crypt. This was a cool booth. A ton of horror patches, more horror hats. I assume that they make all these themselves, but they have some really cool designs. So this is the Toe Tag Productions table. And if you're unfamiliar with Toe Tag, they're headed by Fred Vogel, who is the mastermind behind the August Underground films. He has over 60 credits in IMDb for writing, directing, special effects. That's not Fred. Fred's on the other side of the table. He's helping Fred. They are a Cinema Wasteland staple. You gotta stop by, check out their booth, talk to Fred, check out their merchandise, check out their films. I didn't get the name of this booth, but I think it's Horror Gods, I'm assuming. Steve's showing me some pins right now. That was Jesse from A Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Here's a Leatherface with the opening door. That's actually a really cool pin. I hate pins, but they make so many cool pins. I might have to pick some up. They got a good variety of stickers too. Oh, there's a little baby Jason with water wings. More horror books, trade paperbacks, and horror novels. And then on the back wall typically is where they have their celebrity guests. This year it was Frankenhooker and Trauma. And there you can see Lloyd Kaufman hanging out with Sergeant Kabuki Man and Toxic Avenger. This guy's booth, his name is Kevin. He's the guy you're going to want to go to for any movies you're looking for. He has everything from horror to comedy to weird movies about pizza delivery. If you can't find it at his booth, he can probably tell you where you can find it. Awesome selection, great prices, great dude. Now here's the backside of Pallbearer Press. I said we were going to come back to it. Their designs really pop to me. I really like their shirt designs. They use a lot of fluorescence, which makes their stuff really pop. Oh, I almost forgot. Jennifer Rubin of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 in the criminally underrated film from 1988, Bad Dreams, was there signing autographs as well. It looks like everybody's buttoning up. This is the end. This was your Cinema Wasteland walkthrough. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you didn't get sick of me talking. Like and subscribe. I appreciate you making it to the end of this video if you made it that far.